Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. And welcome to my October TBR. I did not complete September TBR. Let's just get it out of the way. I only read 4 books in September, so I didn't really get through my TBR that I had set. But either I'm delusional, which might be true, or I'm still very excited about October and I think it's going to be a great reading month for me. I know that a lot of people are doing strictly spooky TBRs for Halloween and such, and though I think that the majority of books that I'll be reading are thrillers and horrors, I also wanted to just do a simple Tarot Picks My TBR and not restrain myself for that, because I do have a lot of other books that I need to get to that aren't necessarily for spooky season. So I didn't do like a whole scary TBR, but I hope that that's okay still. I picked a bunch of cool books, I think, that you will enjoy hearing about me reading. And without further ado, let's just get into the TBR. This month I only pulled 5 cards because I didn't really necessarily want to overwhelm myself, and so I picked 3 cards from the Major Arcana and 2 cards from the Minor Arcana. So let's look at that footage now and see the cards that I pulled. Hello and welcome to the card pulling section of today's video. I actually just went and got my nails done today, so they're looking quite fresh, quite nice. You're welcome. As always, I'm using the Mystic Mondays deck by Grace DeLong. It's still my favorite deck. Actually, I've never bought another. I have a very classic tarot deck, but this was the only like experimental one that I got, and I have still to get a new one because I love this one so much. So this month I'll be picking, I think, 5 cards, and now we are just going to separate them again as we always do, so that we can pull from the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. Our first card is the Empress. The first card that I pulled was the Empress, and this card is to read a book with a beautiful cover, which gives me a lot of room to work with because a beautiful cover is a beautiful cover. And I try to pick mostly physical books that I have either from my library or that I received recently. I recently did a book haul. That was actually my latest video before this one, so if you want to go check it out, I really appreciate it. But the book that I picked for the Empress is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zine. My boyfriend got this book for me, which I'm very thankful for because I had been eyeing it for a while. And don't even tell me that this doesn't have a beautiful cover, because it does. And this book is about 2 people that have been friends for a long time, and I think that they start a video game together that becomes very, very famous, and they have to deal with the fame, and it stretches out over the years during their friendship and maybe a romance. I didn't quite understand if there would be a romance involved, but it sounds very promising. The reviews have just been so stunning. It seems like this is the perfect book and that it's impossible to dislike, which does make me a little bit nervous because, you know, when the hype is too high and you're like, maybe I'm not going to enjoy this book because my own expectations are just so unmatchable. But I do hope that I love this one because, I don't know, it's just a beautiful book and I can't wait to read it and to keep it on my shelves. Our second card is the Chariot. Then the next card that I got was the Chariot, and the Chariot is the card that calls me out the most because this is the card of continue a series you've already started. So either reading the sequel or the third book in a series, whatever that may mean to you. And for me, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I am going to talk about a book that I am currently reading, and that was in my last month's TBR, and that is European Travel for Monstrous Women by Theodore Goss. It's the second book in the Athena Club, or The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter trilogy, and I love the first book so much. I read it at the beginning of September and I fell in love with it, and I'm finally continuing on with the sequel because I do want to finish this trilogy and I want to binge it when I'm still very excited about it. And I'm currently reading it. I've only read the first chapter, so it's been a bit slow, but I love it. I love it already. Like, I know that I do. So that is a book that I am reading. That is one of the series that I am continuing. And then also, if I have the time, I might be reading the second book in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy by Carmine Scalco because, listen, a lot of people hated this book. I kind of liked it. I'm going to be honest. Like, I only gave it 3 stars. It wasn't the best thing ever, but it was entertaining. I liked the mood. It was very witchy, very gothic, very October. And what better time to read the second book than now? I don't know. I only have the first one because my friend Bia got this one. She loaned me this one, so I will be continuing on with the series hopefully now in October because the mood is just, the setting and the atmosphere. Carmine Scalco did something right. Like, it's spooky, you know. So I can't wait to continue on with this one, even though that the rest of the series also haven't gotten great reviews even when compared to the first one, but I still have high hopes that it'll give me what I need when I read it. And the last card from the Major Arcana is the Moon. Then we got the Moon card, and the Moon card is to read an underrated, underhyped book. And listen, I had a tough time with this card because the books that I most want to read in October are books that are very hyped right now. New thrillers coming out, new mysteries, new horror books that everyone's talking about. And so it was very hard to pick interesting books that not a lot of people have heard about, maybe. I went with number of ratings on Goodreads as well because it's a good way to measure how popular a book is. And the first one that I found that sounded really interesting to me was All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slater. And this book seems to be about a curse where a family for generations has had to, I think, give a child in order to remain safe on their ship missions. And so they went on various missions on ships that lasted months, and in order to be safe during those trips they had to sacrifice something else. But for a long time the family has not been keeping up with this trade, and so now the spirits are angry, and the main character's grandmother is determined to make things right again, even if that means sacrificing our main character, whose name I don't remember, forgive me. This sounds very interesting. It was under gothic retellings, and I think I do like stories set on ships. I found that out recently. I haven't read many, but the ones that I have, I like that setting, I like that atmosphere, and it just seems very interesting. It came out last year. It had under 5,000 reviews, so I thought this would be a good one for the underhyped prompt. And the other one that I found out about is called A Dreadful Splendor by B.R. Myers, and this book just came out in August, but it still has less than 1,000 ratings. It has almost 900 ratings, and it's set in Victorian London. It's about seances. It's about, I think, a spiritualist that is summoned to hold a seance for a dead bride, and I think that it goes on from there. It seems very gothic. It's in Victorian London, which is something that I love, and it's something that is also present in the Athena Club books by Theodore Goss. And I really, really love Victorian London stories, And so this one just seemed like it seemed like a good time. Yes, it doesn't have the most crazy amount of reviews yet, but maybe I will stumble upon a hidden gem. Who knows? Okay, so our fourth card overall is going to be this one. The Five of Wands. Next up, I got the Five of Wands, which obviously means to read a 5-star prediction. And for this one, I will be reading Violeta by Isabel Allende. I picked this book up from my library. Yeah. We know. We've been to the library. I've been to the library. Like, we've heard it. But I picked this book up. I'm very excited about it. This is my most comfortable 5-star prediction, I think, all year. I no longer make 5-star predictions because I never read the fucking books that I say are going to be 5 stars. But from the books that I have in my vicinity, this is the book that I know it's going to be 5 stars because it just sounds incredible. It's about this woman, Violeta, that has lived through not only the Spanish flu, but also coronavirus in our age. And so she has been through a lot. Girlie has been through it, and she is ready to spill the beans. She is ready to tell us all about it, and I am ready to hear it. I love historical fiction. I've never read a book by this author, but I already know it's going to be a banger. Like, don't even try. Isabel Allende is a baddie, and I'll be reading her book and loving it. And our fifth and last card of this month's TBR is the Ace of Wands. And finally, I got the Ace of Wands. So the cards were not very nice with me. They really said, we'll give you the Chariot and you'll continue on with the series, but we'll also give you an ace, so you'll start a new series. And that's what you get for pissing us off. And I deserve it. So with the Ace of Wands, I need to start a series, but fear not, because I have a few series around me to start. And so in the spirit of October, in the spirit of dark academia, gothic books, gold foiling in books, I have 2 that I want to talk about. And the first one is The Bone Witch. Now, you will recognize this from last month's TBR. Of course you will, because I did not read it, but I will now. And when I tell you that I was looking for books from last month that I could put on this TBR, and I was like, where am I going to fit this? And then I found out this was a trilogy. Listen, I did not know. I was going into this thinking that this would be it, that The Bone Witch was a cute standalone that I could just read and get my life over with, but no, this is a trilogy. So I guess if I read this one, I would be starting another series. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? The synopsis doesn't give me a lot about this one. I know that it's about a necromancer, which is a very, very rare type of witchcraft that can be found in this particular world, and that Tia, our main character, needs to protect what she knows and be careful with who she deals with, because apparently the 8 kingdoms are at war, and so Bessie needs to watch out because they're coming for her and she needs to be careful. That's what I know about this book. I really didn't know it was a series, which is not actually a good sign because it doesn't feel like many people have carried on with the series, but I'm hopeful that I'll like it. And I don't know, it just seems like a perfect book to read in October, and since my TBR is lacking in the horror department, hopefully this makes up for it. And now, of course, the dark academia golden child of TikTok. We have the Atlas 6. This is the book that I most recently got from you know where. And listen, I will be vlogging this because sometimes I get a little bit tired of people always repeating the same vlogs, which I mean like with the same books, like, oh, reading TikTok's most popular books. So I'm not gonna be doing those types of videos, but I'll be doing a dedicated vlog just for the Atlas 6 because I'm so curious. People either love or hate this book, and I'm just, the hype has gotten to me. Like, I am so curious about this one. And honestly, I have no idea which side I'll fall on, because sometimes I do tend to have unpopular opinions, but at the same time, I liked Kingdom of the Wicked and nobody else did. So it just, I'm not sure what I'll think of it, but I think that's very interesting and it'll make for a good vlog. And this is a series. Apparently this month the Atlas Paradox comes out, and this is about 6 people that meet because they gain an apprenticeship in the Society of Alexandria, something like that, and only one of them can be America's Next Top Model. I don't know. I really don't know what I'll think of it. It's a series. I'm going to start it and let's see what happens, if I love it or if I hate it. Alright besties, this is my October TBR. Of course, a few of the books are missing, but let's just recap, shall we? I have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I have the Atlas 6. I have Yulita. I have the second book, Kingdom of the Cursed by Karen Maniscalco. And then I have The Bone Witch by Rinchipeko. And outside of this, I have All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slater. And also I have A Dreadful Splendor by B.R. Myers. That is my October TBR. I will hopefully be reading more, but this is what I'm committing to. And if you catch me in November saying I didn't read these books, no you didn't. No you didn't. That's not true. That's not true. Alright, so let me know which book you're most excited to read in October, because it is a very active month here on BookTube and I love this time of year on BookTube. So let me know which book you're most excited to read in October. Also, if you've read any of these books, any opinions that you have on them. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.